Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. So, when I came, I was working patrol overtime. I was not aware, as I explained to Michelle at the time, of that report.
You weren't aware of the report that was sitting on your desk for over a month and a half.
It wasn't sitting on my desk for over a month and a half. You're making assumptions.
Negative.
You're close to being accurate.
We've talked to Demal. It was sent to your desk. We've talked to the DA. Okay. They told us to go through these steps.
Right.
It's been logged to let them know, show.
I was not assigned to me until the 15th.
There's a lot of suspicious activity going on here.
No.
What does Ortiz have over you guys? That you guys have been assisting him as a criminal?
I don't understand where you're coming from.
I'm just asking a question.
No, you're not.
That is a question, sir.
No. I don't even know.
Why are you guys assisting him at every time?
I never met the guy before that.
Okay.
But here I am. I'm going to assist
Happen
Michelle
to be the same.
in any way I can. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I don't want to have a confrontation with you.
Oh, there's no confrontation.
I don't really want to have any communication with you because,
obviously,
as far as I know, this is an investigation that it's an allegation that occurred over a year ago, right?
This continues to happen. This has been, just so you know, sir, not just them, but myself and the child and Michelle are at risk of our lives.
Well,
from a criminal that viciously raped Michelle and continues to abuse the child, Melanie Ortiz, that you, with the Palm Desert Police Department, continues to assist him any way possible. That young lady has called multiple times. I have recordings of the phone calls of her hiding in her bedroom from you guys, being called by Ortiz to go over there every day, almost daily, to harass her of the child's well-being, when Ortiz never even texted her or called her of the well-being of the child, but called you guys to go over there to help assist him with the harassment.
I don't have any knowledge of any of this.
Of course.
First time I ever...
Do you have any knowledge of the officer that went over there for the child welfare and disclosed information that I given her about the child speaking of suicidal thoughts?
The first time I ever met Ortiz or heard Michelle's name was this past Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I've never heard anything about anything before.
Okay. Well, I'm just bringing it to your attention that we are very, very concerned for our lives. Very. This is a very serious issue, sir.
So then you let me do my job?
When we come here, we are scared. The department has been assisting him. Who knows, we could lose our lives. And then all of a sudden, a lot of evidence is gone. But, sir, I'm just bringing to your attention
Not
evidence. That we don't carry any evidence with us. And the evidence that we do have, and anything that has to do with Ortiz, is gone to friends or family. And if something were to happen to us daily, it is put out. We are in the process of going about this the right way in every which step possible. We know our rights, our constitutional rights.
What are your constitutional rights?
Well, first of all, freedom. Freedom to obtain those reports today.
Okay.
Freedom of not being harassed by Ortiz. Freedom of protection.
Okay.
Right? Right or wrong? Freedom to be heard. She's called multiple times for you guys to protect her and that little girl. Never did you guys come. You've given her the runaround. She's got recordings of it.
Are you saying me specifically? Or
the department of Palm Desert Police Department, not the county. We've had to leave to get a report that was done by Temecula. Courtesy report.
Did you try to report this right before?
Many times. We have recordings and documentation of it.
May you provide that to me?
Negative. I cannot provide that to you. I could. you would like the recordings of us coming here
I
to...
don't want recordings. I want to know what date you tried to report a rape and you were turned away, who you spoke to, so that I can look into it.
How about you look into the rapist?
That's what I'm going to do.
Not what,
But
I'm not trying to back up the Palm Desert Police
I'm
Department.
not going to have anybody tell me how to conduct my investigation.
Of course. But what does us coming here to ask for help have to do with looking to get justice from a criminal?
Well,
besides the fact that
that's a part of it. I'd like to know if
not being protected.
Well, that's my job. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I left voicemail messages for Michelle last Friday. Okay, I left voicemail message yesterday.
I'm pretty sure you're aware of every single incoming and outgoing call that comes into our phones is recorded.
Okay.
Even if they're voicemails. And I'm also pretty sure that every time we come into contact with you, you guys, or Palm Desert Police Department, or Ortiz, it is recorded every which way possible.
I don't know. I can't speak to what other deputies have done.
Do you know that?
I know every time I have contact with the public, I don't record it.
There's been social workers have not reported the injuries that have happened to the child.
Okay. Do you not
on
think
5/19?
Do you not think that those are pertinent to an investigation?
They are pertinent to.
So then why wouldn't you provide that to me?
I can provide you that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I can provide you as much stuff that has to get justice against the criminal. Yes.
As far as I know, as far as I read in that Deputy Dumel's report.
Dumal, sir.
Dumal. I'm investigating a rape allegation that happened in 2018.
Okay. It happened more than that.
Okay. So that's what I think. That's all I know that I'm investigating.
And did you read the part? There was a 4-page report that Officer Dumal wrote of the child abuse. You're not investigating that as well? Are you aware of the CPS investigation going on right now against Ortiz as well?
No, this is all very new to me. I'm just getting into it. I have not had this for a month and a half. We track everything. I was assigned this on the 15th of May.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
On the 15th of May, not a month and a half ago.
That's what
2
you're
weeks
saying.
ago. So I
I'm
wasn't
just
aware of it. I hadn't gone into it yet.
Okay.
All right. So you're when I met you, you come at me with a camera and you start talking to me about
We're pretty upset, sir.
And you know what? Being upset is not an emotion that is unique only to you.
Right.
People deal with it. You don't deal with it by being unprofessional. You don't deal with it by being confrontational.
Nope.
If you want results. If you want to work with me on this, then let's work.
Sir,
let's work on it.
I'm being straight up with you, sir. All we ask for is justice from a criminal.
I'll give you a fair investigation, okay?
That's all we ask for.
And that's all.
We can care less about
But I don't want to have the confrontation, because what's going to happen is then I won't proceed with it if you're a part of it.
Okay.
I don't want it to be that way, because she needs support.
I'm married. We're getting married.
She needs support
this week.
Well, congratulations.
So that way, before the court hearing, that way it's like not a boyfriend girlfriend. This is a serious thing we got going. You know, we're this is long term.
But we should be working on the same team. What has happened up to now, I had no knowledge of, so I can't speak to it. Okay. But I will help you from this point on.
And we greatly appreciate your help. We do. Okay. This is the first time ever that this is somebody from this station here has seemed genuine to help us. And all we ask for is justice. That's all.
I'll give you, this is what, from what I read, the case itself is going to be based basically on Michelle's word up against, I don't even know his first name.
Richard Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, against Richard's word. Okay. Right. Because the time that has elapsed in between, and I understand the psychological reasons behind not reporting stuff. I am aware that the allegation of the threats that were made against her life. So I'm aware, I'm not blaming her for the delay in reporting it. I understand the reasons why, and I see that in all my other cases, because I'm investigating sex crimes and these types of crimes for the last 10 years.
I'm sure you got a lot of investigations sitting on your desk right now.
Right.
And prioritizing those as...
Right. Exactly. But it doesn't make you guys less of a priority. You're not. And we'll
This is
get on
a
it right
very
away.
serious crime.
Yeah. And we'll get on it right away.
That like I said, we are very worried for our lives.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually, after the last, when you were there in the pickup,
and I wasn't there because she was late. I was there for the pickup, just as to keep the peace. That's what the call that was dispatched to me was, child exchange.
I mean,
we get those all the time.
But she's called, I don't know how many times. And
I wasn't even getting on her for me. I was telling her for her own sake. If you guys are going back to court, he's getting a collection of business cards.
That's fine.
And don't, the judge, I know, but I've been in family court myself. It's not pleasant. I don't know if you have Judge Wells or which judge you have, but when they see enough of those business cards, they start, it works against you. And I was just giving advice.
Of course, it does work against you. And the police officer's word is usually taken first, of course, because of the integrity and as an officer, the professionalism, it is the first person you're going to trust. Trust is the key word. That little girl, she's traumatized, not only by Richard Ortiz, but by this department. The officers that have gone there repeatedly, one of them taking away her civil rights, yelling at her to give him the phone while he's on the phone with Ortiz, to give her the number. That's your civil. You cannot force somebody to take your position to use force to take away their rights like that. The little girl was there present. The little girl was there while the man went there, Richard Ortiz, and raped her.
Where does Ortiz live?
I don't know I don't know. I know the address. I can't give it to you right now.
City?
Here, right here.
Palm Desert?
Yes.
Okay.
He moved closer from Indio to a couple miles down from where she lives.
But you guys don't live in the area, right?
No.
Okay.
We had to leave here for her protection.
So my procedure is this: I have to interview Michelle.
Of course.
Okay. I know she already did it with the other deputy, but I have to have that interview.
Okay.
There is no physical interview. Physical examination because of the time elapsed. And we'll deal with one allegation at a time. I'll check with CPS about the allegation of child abuse against the daughter. If there's not one being made, then we'll make one at that time.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing is do is interview Michelle, and then I'll have to pull up any old reports, things like that, so I get full background on Richard, and then interview Richard. It's one word against the other.
Right.
Okay.
Proof. Proof is what we need.
Yeah.
And that's what we got, sir, because of the fact that not just the timeline, but we have a lot of documentation showing what type of a person this is that you're dealing with.
Text messages are really good. If you guys have kept any.
She's got her original phones. When she first filed the domestic abuse, when he grabbed the phone, twisted her arm because she was trying to call 911 during the exchange of the child for the domestic abuse. The first report was pretty thorough, and the officer, I think it was Ramirez, who actually was giving her Marcy's Law card and was going to put a temporary restraining order until the court hearing on Richard Ortiz, from what he heard. And he wrote down everything. He was pretty concerned for her well-being at the time. He got put in jail and then came out. 4 days later, that Officer Ramirez had he had to go back and investigate Ortiz again, that a sergeant had authorized or told him that he needed to go investigate him again. 4 days later, that gives a criminal 4 days of thinking of an alibi. And then nothing was, Ramirez originally wanted that sent to the DA. It never got sent to the DA.
What I like to do is establish a timeline of events. That's the reason I'm asking you about providing stuff for old events, is because I want to show a pattern. I want to show a history.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. Another thing, the pattern and the history and the consistency of every time we pick up that child, the last time we just picked her up, we have video of her saying, please finish this. I don't want to go back there. Every single time he calls, she does not want to answer. But we let her know that you have to talk to him. It's court order, mommy. We'll get in trouble. You need to talk to him.
Okay.
On her own, she calls him the man. She calls him the man.
Okay.
You know
has
that?
she been evaluated by the court yet?
She has not.
By a social worker or anything like that?
No. And this we've called continuously on the traumatized child and on Michelle.
So she's never gone to Barbara Sinatra for an interview?
Nothing. Nope. And then also she has welts and bruises on her. They're normally on her right side. Her arm, her forearm, her wrist, her forehead. We've got pictures. We take her in to the hospital. Okay. We have them. We tell the social worker. Social worker Lisa Wilson never reported it, which is against the code of ethic, against the social workers association. I found a lot of information out, so I'm going to be filing a complaint against her. And
who's the social worker right now?
You have Kathleen Cody is current social worker that we had asked that it be out of the Palm Desert area.
Catherine?
Catherine Cody. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a number for her?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can get that to you with a lot of the evidence that you're going to need for the timeline.
All right, so I'm going to be here. Like I said, I'm going to be working out of the area tomorrow, but I will be back on Thursday. If not, I'll be here Monday through Wednesday of next week. I'll be on vacation after that. So I don't know if you guys want to do this before. You want to do it as soon as possible? Then I'll be here Thursday for you guys.
Okay. But you're leaving Friday?
I won't be here. I'm off Friday.
Okay.
I'm off Fridays. I work Monday through Thursday. I'm on a 10-hour 4-10 schedule.
Okay.
But I'll be here Monday through Wednesday of next week.
Okay, I'll have to talk to her.
Okay.
She's the boss, so I have to find out what schedule.
Okay.
But,
so I'll be here Thursday, and I will be here Monday through Wednesday.
Okay. And another thing I wanted to point out, when you do this investigation on the child's injuries, and also if you go back to the pictures, and she has the original pictures and the phone from when she first filed, and a lot of other things that have happened when they were together, the injuries are all to the right side of the two of them's body. Usually the arm. They're right-handed. They're
They're right side, right?
Yeah, they're right-handed.
Uh-huh.
He is also right-handed.
Okay.
So if somebody's coming at you with the right hand, what's your first instinct?
Usually you're left hand.
Negative. You're right-handed.
But they're really going to be coming from my left side.
If he's swinging with his right hand, or however he's swinging, but as a defense, you're using your right hand, your right side, your right arm to defend yourself from the impact that's going to occur. So these all are consistent patterns from both of them, from way back when until now. So that's what I want to point out to you. Okay. This is just some of the things that I myself figured out. Okay. And I mean, as time goes on, I've been learning so much. Okay. So I'm a little bit grateful for Mr. Ortiz, not only in the fact that these two, I've never been loved more by anybody, than, by the way he's treated. They look at me like I'm some sort of superhero, which I'm not. I'm just an ordinary, humble man. I'm nobody. I'm putting my career that I've worked so hard out on the line to give up, nothing to lose. But for them to be safe. It's all I care about.
When are you getting married?
We're trying to get married before the court hearing. So Mr. Ortiz knows you can't control it. It's like a fatal. He's got serious problems, psychological problems. He was going to drive her off the 79 if she didn't stay with him. He was driving recklessly when she was pregnant.
How long, I don't know of this, how long when the relationship ended.
I don't know. I'm saying she has sir. She has. Okay, so when you talk to her,
Yeah.
this is pretty traumatizing. I mean, I'm not going to tell you the details.
Yeah. That's why I asked her if she wanted to have an advocate. A rape crisis advocate.
Listen, I can get you every detail that she personally wrote up on her own, documentation that she continues to write, handwritten, but the handwritten ones are her own, and the type she's got full typed out in detail.
Well, I can tell you right now, that's all needed, and the reason it's needed is when we have a case that is older like this, and there's no physical evidence, and there's no witnesses, then it's just the credibility of each side. So I could take anything you guys have, anything.
I'm pretty sure
it's an uphill battle, because when the process is, I do the investigation. I think we both know he's not going to come out and make this confession and admission.
Of course not. Of course not.
Right? So I write everything up. Send it to the DA's office. The DA's office is going to look at it, and they're going to base it on, can I win this case?
Of course.
100%. Can I win it in court? Can I convince 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that this occurred? And if so, then they will file. And that's the process. So we need to come up with a very best case that we can.
Sir, I'm pretty sure the DA is going to have a lot of fun with this one. Pretty sure. This is like a movie. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not. Right now, currently, Michelle is safe. That happened to her was when they weren't together. Before I came in the picture. When I came in the picture, he now starts to want to see the child. Now, because I'm in the picture. But he never seen her consistently like this at all for 7 years. And there's that proof as well.
Okay.
Not only that, but right now, currently, the child is taking the blunt impact of what has been going on. That is not in the child's best interest right now. And we have to keep coming here and to watch the department, Palm Desert, hand over the child to this.
Which, until we have a court order that says otherwise, we have to do.
Of course. But you guys also, after showing you the pictures, after showing you the hospital reports, after, the social worker, I mean, the child speaking out to the social worker, I have a recording of her telling the social worker everything, and the social worker never reported it. That's against the law on its own.
Yeah.
So that social worker is going to be in trouble. Not only that, but there's officers that go there to check on a child's well-being, and then disclosing the fact that the social worker, Catherine, told us, like you said, we have to keep letting her go there because of court ordered. But there was going to be a code word. She suggested a code word, and that if she discloses a code word, that we call you guys to help us to go look and investigate a child's well-being, which we did. But I also, which is something that I would kind of let her know the seriousness of it, that the last time we picked her up, we had to take her to the hospital again. And not only did the child have injuries and bruises and pictures and shown documented to the hospital, but the first time we heard her speak of suicidal thoughts. The 7-year-old.
Yeah, she shouldn't be having those.
So we told her that, and she never told anybody. But I told that officer that. She disclosed that information to Mr. Ortiz. Same with having the child give up that.
But is there a history, is there a report of child abuse right now with the department?
No, like I said, we've tried to come in here, I don't know how many times, to report stuff.
Okay.
There's been times where Mr. Ortiz has called, many times, and has a lot of cards from you guys.
Always get
a lot.
But always get them.
And we try to say, do you know, like, ma'am, do you know, or sir, do you know that he's under investigation through CPS because he's been abusing that child, like I asked you the other day, or
I didn't, yeah.
You didn't, but it's as a police officer.
And there's no, we don't track the social service history, we track law enforcement history. And as of right now, I didn't see any active investigations on him.
Under CPS?
No, law enforcement. We don't track CPS investigations, we only track law enforcement.
But I bring it to, and she has brought it to their attention that CPS is investigating him multiple times.
Yeah.
The last one.
Yeah, I need to get that history, yeah.
The last one was Stephanie Casas. Casas. She's from the area. Another person in the area.
Yeah.
That went to talk to the child about what had been happening to her, and then goes to the father and discloses all that information that the child told her as a trusted emergency, not first responder, but somebody that is supposed to like protect her well-being, which is again their code of ethic as a social worker. Disclosed that to the father, which again was not in the child's best interest, because of the next visit that the child had with the father. What do you think happened to the child?
Yeah.
Yes.
Took it out.
Again, she comes back with bruises and injuries. On Parent Talk, we disclosed that to him. You again abused her. Of course, he says no. Of course, he wants to know what hospital we're going to, because he says that you're supposed to let me know what hospital you're going to, because court after says you have to let me know. Well, yeah, if she's sick, is the flu, cough, or something, but we're not going to let you know what hospital we go to if it has to do with you as a criminal abusing a child, because what do you think is going to happen from that? Yeah. More problems. So all we ask for is justice, Officer Diaz.
No.
That's all we ask for. We do not care about anything else but justice.
So, is she done? Do you think she can check and see if she can talk right now about when she can come back? Because I don't know what your work schedules are.
She's on the phone. Okay. But yeah, I have your card, and
it's got my cell and my cell and my desk phone number.
Is that your email?
Yeah.
Okay. I will forward you what I could.
Okay.
Pictures, documentations.
Okay. The most important thing to do
medical reports
is to lock down a time for an interview. And like I said, she wants to bring a crisis advocate with her.
We've had issues with crisis advocates because we've called, and I've called hundreds of numbers, hundreds of people to help. Some people wanted to help, some people were, I found out a lot of information, a lot of people too. So the ones that I found out about, the crisis advocates were just, things were a little odd.
They should only be there as comfort, because they've been through that stuff, and that's all. They're really not, they're no part of the investigation. It's just support for, because I can't say, people who are close, if you want a good interview and if you want actual consideration for this to be filed, you can't bring in somebody who can influence the investigation into that interview, because then it contaminates it. So people who are familiar to her can't be in there, because you're just doing an injustice to the whole process, because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, because that's what the first thing that the other side will do is they're telling her what to say. They're influencing her. She's saying it because they're right there. That's
because she feels comfortable to be able to come out with something that is so horrific that has happened, and traumatizing.
Which is why we have an advocate, because advocates are neutral. If you don't, then you just do yourself a disservice.
But
absolutely,
like I said, the key word is trust.
Right.
An advocate she's lost her trust in the department, sir. She's lost her trust pretty much in all police officers, which I've tried, and I will continue to work on it with the child to let them know when you call 911, it is always
I'm
for
not talking about
their
the child.
protection.
I'm talking about Michelle.
Both. That's what I'm talking about. Both. This concerns both of them. So when Michelle is trust and the advocate or a social worker or a police officer.
I've never talked to a female police officer, a female detective.
I'm just saying that just the trust is the key word there. And when you trust somebody, you feel comfortable to come out and speak out because she's afraid of her life from somebody who's threatened her life,
right?
Said he will kill you and bury you in the desert underneath one of those windmill things because nobody ever find you there.
But the hard part is saying
that's just one of the threats.
But the hard part is to prove that was said. You know
Sure.
That's the hard part.
But when it's
like,
a consistency,
so we have consistency of
the threats keep happening.
Well, but the thing is, how do we prove that threats are happening? Do we have them on text message? Do we have them in letters? Do we have recorded conversations of them? Because if we don't have that,
we have the child speaking out that
right.
If I say anything, that the man he says that you'll never see me or my mom again if I say anything. And especially after Stephanie went and told Ortiz, in taking out on her, she doesn't like speaking out at all anymore.
Yeah.
But you can tell that when a child's behavior, when you talk about Lulz dolls or Barbie dolls, she's herself. But if you ask her something about what has been happening to her at her dad's house, she closes up, which is an obvious sign that something's not right. Her behavior.
Well, we don't interview the children ourselves. What we do is for the children, we go to the Riverside Children's Center and the social workers that are trained in forensic interviews. So, say if a child witnessed a murder, or they are being abused, or they witnessed a criminal act, they don't feel comfortable talking to some middle-aged man that they've never met before. They feel comfortable going into a room with a female social worker who's trained to not ask direct questions, but indirect, open-ended questions. Right. So in order to elicit the most honest response from a child in a non-threatening way. And they color, they play games, they talk for however long it takes to establish that comfort level. Yeah. And then all I'm doing is I'm observing. And then they'll take periodic breaks and they'll say, what else do you want me to ask about? How else do you want this asked? And we go from there. And those are the only way to talk to children. We don't talk to them.
Of course. What I was going to say was, the only problem with that is that sounds like it's right here. We don't live in this area at all. We
can either do it in Moreno Valley or Rancho Mirage.
Where's Rancho? Is Rancho Mirage right here? Like anything here, we're not around this area. Okay. Moreno Valley would be a little easier. A little easier.
Where do you guys live?
We live up in Crestline, so we're up by Lake Arrowhead. Yeah. So that's pretty far for her to come out here for that. But again, with Michelle, if it's easier for her to give you the documentation that she personally wrote up and her being there, it's hard for her to speak out. How would it work for you? If not, the only way for her to speak out would be a little easier would be on the phone.
I'd probably ask her if she wants to speak to a female detective. Go that route.
I'm going to highly doubt that, especially how the female detectives or the officers here have treated her. That's probably even worse. Okay. Wow. And she did try to talk to a female officer one other time with Sergeant Garcia.
Sergeant Garcia from here?
Yes.
Oh, you dealt with Sergeant Garcia?
Many times, yeah. He knows who we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Positive or negative?
I'm pretty sure it's positive, but with everything that's been going on, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's positive. He knows who we are.
I would just ask that you guys don't try to paint everybody with the same brush.
Try not to. We're trying not to. The thing is that it's all associated with Ortiz, and every time it has